Does it feel like achieving your money goals is a lost cause? Understandable in the current environment. But I'm here to tell you it is absolutely not a lost cause. You just have to have the right system in place that identifies the path and allows for pivoting when necessary. This is what businesses do all the time, and it's why they're able to keep working towards their goals and achieving them. So, if you want to learn the process and how to apply it to your household, then stay tuned. Hi, I'm Carmen with Money Choices Today, and I help families create a plan for their money so that they can break the paycheck to paycheck cycle, eliminate debt, and increase their savings and investing accounts. A plan for your money is essential in creating and living the life that you want. A few years ago, I did a video on how to run your household like a successful business. Well, with all of the changes over the last few years, I thought it was time for an update. I'll talk about what businesses do first and then relate it to households and how it can be implemented. So, the first thing that businesses do is that they create their mission statement. It is essentially the goal of the organization. For businesses, it also usually includes what markets they serve and what products and services they offer. It helps to keep the organization focused and aligned and everyone operating as one unit. Everybody knows what the goal is and can work towards that goal every single day. Now, when creating a family mission statement, it should be based on the desired life you want your family to experience and include the family's purpose, values, and standards. Based on the desired life, identify the goals that you can focus on. Maybe start with 3 or 4 and take a look at the next 5 or 10 years. Don't just look at the next month or the next year. Really think about it in a long-term fashion. Focus on involving the whole family in creating the mission statement. Yes, I'm even talking about children. Set up a meeting and source ideas from all family members. It's important for children to learn early the process of managing money and what it takes, and just having conversations about money so as they go along in their life, they're able to manage their money with confidence. It can be anything like eliminating debt, growing your savings and investing accounts, increasing your sources of income, and so on. So you may be wondering, Carmen, give us an example of a family mission statement. So I found a few online and I'll have that linked in the description below, but let me read you this one that I found that I thought was really good. We are committed to family bonding, community outreach, and fun. We grow the family assets and provide for families' education, career development, and security. That is a great mission statement. It covers more than just money, and your mission statement should definitely include money goals, but should include the other aspects that I mentioned earlier as well. I have a framework that I teach on goal setting that really helps with this. In fact, I have a financial goals and budget workshop that dives into the details of it. So check out the description box below for details on the next upcoming session. So the next thing that businesses do is they develop a strategy that will help them achieve their goals. They take a look again at the big picture, long term, stepping back to see, hey, in 10 years, this is where we want to be. And they do that because you have to start working now to get to that goal. You can't say, hey, I want to have $1 million in revenue as a business by 2024 and wait until 2023 to get started. You have to start planning and implementing things now so that you can work towards that and reach that goal. They identify the steps that are needed to achieve their goals. And you can do this same thing for your family. You've identified the goals, and now you need to talk about and think about what steps are needed to achieve that. Once you have those steps kind of listed out, now it's time to create a plan. This is what businesses do. They have a plan, multi-year plan. Generally, they have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5-year plan. And so essentially, it's their budget. I call money plan budget. I use those words interchangeably because to me, they're the same thing. So they create a budget. It's down on paper Everybody knows what it is, and they can see what can be spent and what can't be spent. That's really critical in working towards a goal. A lot of times people try to operate without some type of plan or budget in place, and they look up and they may not have enough money to cover necessary expenses. Now, it's just not about creating a budget. Yes, now we have everything in place. We have our budget on paper. Same thing for like businesses. What they then do is that they track against that budget. So they track their revenue that's coming in, they track the money that's going out, and is it meeting what they set out to do? The family can do the same thing. We all know that we should be tracking our expenses, but you should also be tracking your income. As we've seen over the last couple of years, income can fluctuate depending on the environment. And if your income is going lower, then you definitely have to take a look at your expenses so that you can cut back and still be able to manage within. You should also be obviously tracking your savings, your debt, investing in those things, but tracking is the part of the process that a lot of people forget. So let me ask you, how do you track your money flow? And by money flow, I mean your income, your expenses, savings, debt, all of those things. Do you do it on paper? Do you use an app? Or do you do it the least successful way, which is by memory? I've tried that memory method, and that generally doesn't work. So let me know in the comments, are you an app person, on paper person, or do you try the memory game for part of it? Now, businesses generally have a finance team in place that sets up this budget for them and tracks everything for the company. But sometimes they may bring in an outside consultant to get an outside perspective because maybe it's something they're missing, or maybe this expert has a different idea about how to get them there faster. It's the same thing with families. If you're not as sure about what to do or how to get things in place, start out with an expert that can help you establish that solid foundation so that you can get your family on the right track and then keep progressing. Now, I'm not saying you have to keep this expert in place all the time, but it can be a great start so that you're not spinning your wheels and losing traction along the way. So we have the mission statement and the strategy, and now it's time to talk about teamwork. An organization has a hierarchy that identifies what everyone is responsible for. In businesses, at the top sits the CEO or the Chief Executive Officer. For families, that top position may be the Chief Family Officer. They kind of assign roles to the rest of the team. And yes, everyone in the family should be involved in this mission statement and helping achieve it. And that's just so important, again, when it comes to managing money. The more conversations we have about it, the more confident your family becomes, especially your children as they get older. So you'll want to talk about what the roles could be in your family. Again, you'll have the person at the top, the chief family officer, that kind of directs things, but then they assign other roles and responsibilities to team members. It can be like, I'm just making up things here to give you some ideas, but it can be someone to manage the grocery list and shopping and things like that. There can be somebody that actually pays the bills and records all of the transactions. So think about that with your family and what kind of roles that everyone can have. So another reason for this teamwork and hierarchy structure is that there is some form of consensus decision making. One person is not just making the decisions, everybody contributes to that decision making process. Now, of course, you all may decide that the chief family officer will make the final decision, but at least include everybody so that they can see how the process works and even talk about why the decision was made. Again, building confidence around money is so important for everyone in the family. So in the comments below, let me know who manages the money in your family. Is it just one person or is it more than one person? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. Now, this next step is critical for businesses. They evaluate their progress often, and they do this so that they can see whether or not what they plan to do is working. And if not, this then gives them a chance to pivot to something else if it's not working. And it's the same way with families. You want to track what you're doing to see if it's working. Just because you decided something at the very beginning, things may have changed or something may have occurred that is not allowing you to stay on track with that. So, with businesses, they evaluate their progress in specific intervals, such as maybe weekly or monthly, and they present it in different ways. It can be a formal presentation where they gather everybody together and show some slides so that people can actually see what's going on. They may create a report and email it out to everybody. Now, for your family, you can probably just have a family money meeting. And yes, it probably would be great to have some slides so that people can see the visual effects of the decisions and the actions that are being taken within the family. Let's do a brief rundown of the 4 things that we've covered before we get to this last item. We've created the family mission statement. We've developed a strategy for it. We talked about teamwork and the organizational hierarchy, and we just talked about evaluating the progress often. This last thing is really important, and it's being organized. It's all about having all of your financial information in one place so the key stakeholders in business can get to that information at any time so that they can be able to make a decision quickly if they have to. So when you talk about getting information in one place, you can do that digitally, keeping it online, or you can do it in file cabinets. Now, if you're going to keep it in file cabinets, make sure that it's fireproof and secure so that information won't go missing. But it's really important to decide now how you want to keep your financial information and keep it in a place, again, where everybody has access to it. Everybody being the key stakeholders in a business or in your family. Another thing that I do is I've created a money email address. So I have one email where all of my financial information goes. That way it doesn't get lost with all of the other emails that we get on a daily basis. Again, when you create this money email address, though, you're going to want to make sure that the password is very secure because the email address is your money email address. An example would be carmensmoney@gmail.com. Now, I just made that up. You can make your family email address whatever you want it to be, but that's just an idea to help to keep you organized. So those are all of the things that you need to get your household organized like a business so you can be successful with your money as well. If you really want to get started on the right foot, remember to take a look in the description box below and look for my financial goals and budget workshop so you can see when the next session is starting. Make sure you subscribe and give a like for this information if it was helpful. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.